Hi, everybody, and welcome back to The Things I Know. This week is my back to school edition. So, most of us, if we have kids, are getting ready to enter into the 2020-2021 school year. And for a lot of us, there is an additional level of stress that we haven't had in past school years. You're either schooling completely from home, like my family is, which means we're on day 150 of all being home from school and from work and trying to manage that. Um, you might be going back to school in person, and that feels stressful because A, it's scary, and B, who knows how long you'll be there, and you may have to shift again. Or you may be doing some sort of hybrid version of that, some days in, some days out. Regardless, this is just one more season of craziness in 2020. So I wanted to come here and share some, what I think are some tips around the best way to take care of yourself as we move back into schooling and working from home for a lot of us. I'd like to do back to school editions of The Things I Know. I've done them in the past under the different versions of my Facebook Live series. And one of the reasons I always love that is because there is a sense when we go back to school normally of a fresh start. Back when I was working for Weight Watchers, we always kind of considered September almost like another January. There's this freshness you get. Your kids are going back to school, you're getting new notebooks, you're getting new calendars. Like there is this sense of renewal in September, typically. Um, I don't know that we totally feel that right now, but this could be a time as we move into yet another new normal to try to focus on how do we manage all of this in 2020 during a pandemic. So these are not new tips and tricks, but I thought I'd share them again and hopefully they'll land for you and something will feel important for you to try to do differently here for yourself. So, number one, probably the hardest of all the ones I'm going to share, and that is getting a good night's sleep. Sleep is so important for our renewal, both physically and mentally. Um, for those of you who are trying to lose weight or keep weight off, having a good night's sleep is very, very important. And so some of the tips around getting a good night's sleep, and we really should be shooting for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Now, I get it. If you're my age, might be going through menopause, premenopause, sleeping is a little bit tougher. But to setting yourself up for the most success as possible, and then unfortunately the rest of it just sort of falls into place the way it does. So some of the things to make sure you do before you go to sleep: turn off all screens at least an hour ahead of time. So I know that, I've had people say, well, I turn it onto the blue screen so then it's not being affected. Really just shutting it all off. Just put it somewhere in another room. Um, Listen to some music, read a book, just make a habit. I don't care if you're on the screen that is less intense. Just putting the phones away, putting the computers away. Stop watching television. Um, that's a great way to start your sleep routine. And then having a sleep routine, brushing your teeth, washing your face. Maybe it's some meditation, maybe it's reading, whatever it is that feels like a routine that you can do every night. I always think back to, when you have a kid, when you have a baby, you get them into a sleep routine, the bath and the lotion and the reading to them. And we lose that routine as we get older. For some reason, we think as an adult we don't need a routine, and that's not true. And teenagers need it as well. I know this is going to be a stressful time with homework and trying to figure out how all of this is, but trying to get a set time of turning everything off, settling in, can be really, really helpful in terms of managing our self-care and getting through this time. So sleep is incredibly important. And if there's something in particular that is really hard for you around sleep, let me know. Let me see if I can give you some tips or tricks. You can message me, you can comment here in the video, and I'll reach out to you and see what I can do to help you around sleep, because I know that's the hardest one. That's why I started it with number one. Number two is getting some movement in. So if we were at work or your kids were at school, they would naturally be moving, right? They'd have passing periods, they'd be getting up within the classroom. If you're working and schooling from home, you may be finding yourself sitting at the computer all day long. Um, we were kind of laughing at Darren over the weekend because Liam was like, look, you get up, you sit on the couch all day, you go sit on a different couch and watch television, and then you go to bed. It's just kind of the nature of the beast, right? Like he's on meetings all day, I'm on meetings all day, so there's a lot of sitting. Trying to get up and move 5 minutes every hour is very, very helpful. Even if you get a good workout routine, sitting all day is not good for your health. So I get up and I work out every day, but I have my Apple Watch set so that it alarms me, that's not the right word. It notifies me, I think it's 10 to the hour every hour if I have not gotten up and moved. It says, okay, time to stand. So if you have a Fitbit, if you have an Apple Watch and you can set a timer, even if it's just your phone, if you don't have any of those things, set your phone Monday through Friday to move for 5 minutes every hour. Go change the laundry, go take a walk around your building or your apartment. Something to get that movement in. If you move 5 minutes every hour for 8 hours, you got 40 additional minutes of movement in. And again, it's good for you physically, it's good for you mentally. So movement is helpful. It's definitely important. A great way to get some movement in is tip number 3, drink water. So try to have 64 ounces of water at least a day. I mean, that's literally the kind of the least you can do. So have water bottles filled up. That's what I do. I keep a couple of cold water bottles filled up, and I just drink them and refill them so that I always have cold water. Do get a glass of water in the morning, and then just keep filling that up all day long. The reason this is good for movement is if you're not used to drinking that much water, chances are you're going to be going to the bathroom more, which means you're going to be getting up and moving. Or if you're filling up glasses of water every day, you're going to be getting up and moving. So kind of killing two birds with one stone. And then the last tip is taking some time for yourself. So again, kind of expanding on the 5 minutes of movement. Something you can do in those 5 minutes is get out, get some fresh air. Step away from the computer, step away from the phone calls. Try to get out and really, ideally it'd be outside for a while. Everybody can be outside. Eventually it'll get cold and some of you might not be able to do that, but just getting up and stepping away. And if you're feeling particularly stressed, if something's really just like you could feel yourself moving into that fight, flight, or freeze mode, taking some good inhales and exhales. And the key is that the exhale should be longer than the inhale. So I love the 5-5-7 breath. Inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 7. But literally just the good inhale, but then make sure the exhale is longer. So if you need to do some counting of it out or whatever, that longer exhale, I've learned this from a yoga teacher, is what actually moves you from fight, flight, or freeze into relaxation. This is a really good tip to do right before you sit and eat, because if you're sitting in stress, your body's not going to digest as well, which might mean you end up with an upset stomach. Might mean you eat a great meal and it doesn't digest and you're still gaining weight. And I'm only talking about weight right now because I know we're all laughing about the COVID-15 or whatever. So weight's not really my thing anymore, but definitely I still have tips and tricks around that. I've been doing it a long time. So a good deep inhale, but an even longer exhale. And that will move you into a resting mode. It will move your nervous system into a resting mode, a relaxation mode. So sleep routine, good night's sleep, movement 5 minutes every hour if possible, drinking water and really staying hydrated throughout this, and then doing some self-care, stepping away and relaxing. 4 really easy, super basic things that you can do. And what I'd love to know in the comments is which one are you going to try, or which one are you already good at and you want to try something else. And again, if any of these are like, oh, I need to know more, how can I do more? Can you train me on how to do some of these things? Do you have additional tips and tricks? Just message me, put it in the comments. I'll reach out to you individually. Maybe we jump on a quick call and I give you a little bit more information. But this is a stressful time. This is a stressful year. It doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon. So I just really want to be here to support you, to get you to the best health you can be in this crazy, crazy year. All right, so that's the things I know. back to school edition. And have a great week. I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.